Hello and welcome to Titanium Talab's Tarot. And today I will be doing how to how to strengthen your intuition. Okay, and so last week I remember that I mentioned about signs, which is good, and you should concentrate on signs. But if you utilize, you're seeing signs as a go ahead as to why you should or why you shouldn't, that would not be a good sign. What you should mostly concentrate on is how you feel relative to what you are about to do. Now, if you feel great, do it. If you feel not so great, then think twice. Don't not do it, because everything you do at any given moment, every given day, teaches you something. And you get feedback from the world, from the universe, from the people around you, and that feedback is what is necessary for you to grow and to learn. I mean, it's called a feedback loop, right? You say something, someone else responds, and that's feedback to you, and goes on and on and on. Now, if you stop yourself because you saw a number 3 during your day, that's not what signs are for. Signs are for little indicators of how your day would go. But in reality, what I would like to note, to say to you all, is that we are all creative beings. Okay, so we can create. We're very powerful creative beings. Okay, we are created in the image of God, not physically, because God has no shape. Okay, but we are created in the image of God in our ability to create what we want. And what we want, we can create through our thoughts, our actions, but the unison of those things. If you just do thinking, it's not enough. You have to back it up with some action. All right? And so when you take you seeing a certain number in your day as a sign for you not to go with certain something, it's not it's an indicator that it might not be the best time for you to go and do it, but the important thing here is not the sign itself, it's the way you feel about it. It's the emotion that it awakens within you. It's how you feel relative to a certain thing. You could feel good about doing something at one point in your day, and then all of a sudden, when you get really close to that moment, and all of a sudden you feel extremely bad, maybe because you haven't practiced enough, or because you are not ready, or because of X number of reasons, right? The way you feel about something is an indication. And if you change, the trick here is you need to be in charge of your emotions, not just to be able to tell what you feel at any given moment, but if you then are able to like change how you feel at any given moment, well then you will be on top and in charge of your own world, of your own reality. Okay? Because that's the key, in my opinion. Now, I might be wrong, you might have your own thing, and if you do, just type in the box below. I would love to learn. Alright? And so, I would suggest to just feel into it. See how you feel. If it makes you feel good, then great, do it. If you don't feel good, instead of not doing it, think about it and be like, what is it that is making me feel off? Can I change it for me to feel great about it? Or should I change something else? So the first thing you should always consider is changing the way you feel about something. Changing your perception about it. But let's say Okay, you had a presentation to give, and this was my case, and you hadn't practiced. Even if you changed the way you felt, you might have made the situation better. But what had happened was that I was thinking that I could give a presentation in front of professionals, and I had not practiced enough. And of course, now that's the time to feel bad about it and not feel to feel bad and feel stressed. But fortunately, I wasn't on the call, so I wasn't really being called up to talk, which is great because I hadn't practiced. But if I had been called up to talk, well, at least I know my own story, and I could have done something about it. I could have still talked, and the feedback that I would have gotten would have been more useful. More, I would have a lot more to pick up on the feedback than if I had practiced a ton and just practiced a ton, but also, how should I say it? When you get stuck in a way of doing something, you become closed off to what people suggest, let's say. But if you are open and receptive to what people are saying, to how you can better a certain talk or a certain discussion or a certain way of being or doing things, well, then it's the best for you. To be open to feedback is the best thing. Okay, and feedback is not just something that people give you. Life gives you feedback as well. If you are open and receptive enough and perceptive enough to see the feedback you constantly get, then that will be the best way for you to grow and expand in your daily life. Okay? So that is all that I have for you guys this week. If you like this and if you'd like me to talk a little more to you about how to strengthen your intuition, please contact me at the email in the box below. Alright? But before doing that, I think I just left it, I need to clarify a little. So, yes, I talked about practicing. The reason why practicing is good, because practicing will turn something into something that you would naturally do. Like, it will become something your body knows. Example, brushing your teeth. When you were a child, it took you some time to brush your teeth. But then, later on, it became super easy because you knew it, but you had years of practice. So that would make sense that you don't even, if you think tonight when you think, I need to brush my teeth. Okay. So you don't have to think about what's the first step, put the toothpaste on the toothbrush and then brush my teeth. Put it under water, brush my teeth, rinse my mouth out, and blah, 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 and then rinse my brush and then put it in its holder, or put it in whatever you put it in, right? You just got used to doing that action, so now you no longer have to think about doing it, right? Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for anything else. But when you get a sign, that sign should not deter you. It should give you information about how you should proceed. It should be a bit of information that you take, you assimilate, and when I say assimilate, as in you take it into account, and you change the way that you do things just a little bit to accommodate that little bit of information. For example, you're going to school, but there's traffic. If you got that bit of information before leaving home, well, then you know that you need to leave home a little earlier because there's traffic and you don't want to be late for class, right? rate. But if you don't take that little bit of information into consideration, you might get become late. You might get late. You might get to school late. Okay? So, utilizing signs as bits of information is good and useful, but as something, utilizing it as a sign for you not to do something is not necessarily the best way. Like, for example, if someone said, "Oh, there's traffic this morning," and then you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to school." Not the best way of doing things. But if you're like, you hear, okay, there's traffic. All right, so then I have to leave a little earlier today to make sure that I get to school on time. Right? That's the idea. So, my gorgeous collective of listeners, and I use collective, usually I do that for readings, but everybody who's listening, my gorgeous listeners, okay? I wish you guys all a very good week, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye. I sound so mechanical.